Good day, everyone. Today's 10 interesting facts is on one of the most famous starships from Star Trek, the Enterprise, NCC-1701D. This ship was in the Star Trek series The Next Generation for all 7 seasons and 1 movie. So now, let's get into it. Number 1. During its career, the Enterprise served as the Federation flagship and was in service from 2363 to 2371. The Enterprise was built at Utopia Planitia Fleet Yards, orbiting Mars in the Sol system. The construction was a massive undertaking involving thousands of people. Construction was supervised by Commander Quinteros. Dr. Leah Brahms was responsible for much of the Enterprise's warp propulsion system's design. Some of the Enterprise's components were derived from technology originally developed on the USS Pegasus. On Stardate 40759.5 in the year 2363, the Enterprise was launched from Mars. On Stardate 41025.5, the Enterprise was commissioned. Final systems completion and shakedown was conducted at Earth Station McKinley. Captain Jean-Luc Picard took command of the ship on Stardate 41148 at the order of Rear Admiral Nora Satie. Number 2. With a total of 42 decks, the USS Enterprise D was twice the length and had 8 times the interior space of the Constitution-class ships of over a century earlier. It carried a combined crew and passenger load of 1,014. Number 3. The bridge, captain's ready room, and conference lounge were on Deck 1 and were protected by redundant safety interlocks to prevent environmental systems failure. The main shuttle bay was on Deck 4, supported by several cargo bays on Deck 4 and Deck 18. 2 additional shuttle bays were found on Deck 13. Number 4. Deck 8 of the ship was an unfinished multi-purpose deck. Additional workspaces were set there when needed. It also contained the officers' quarters, some guest quarters, and the battle bridge. Deck 12 contained sick bay and the gymnasium, while main engineering was located on Deck 36. Engineering took up 12 decks of the secondary hull, with the antimatter storage pods housed on Deck 42. There was also a science station on Deck 15. Number 5. The primary docking ports were located on either side of the torpedo launcher on Deck 25. The nacelle control room was also on that deck. It also had 20 transporter rooms, with at least 1 on Deck 6. Number 6. The Enterprise had a maximum sustainable speed of warp 9.6 for 12 hours. The warp core could generate a tremendous amount of energy at once if needed. The only device on the ship capable of channeling such energy all at once at controlled frequencies was the main deflector dish. There were some 4,000 power systems in all on board the ship. Number 7. The armaments of the Enterprise D included 12 phaser arrays, 2 torpedo launchers, a supply of 250 photon torpedoes, and hundreds of antimatter mines. The ship was protected by a high-capacity shield grid that could operate on multiple frequencies. When the ship was destroyed in 2371, the shield frequency was at 257.1 MHz. Number 8. The bulk of the people on board the Enterprise could be evacuated within 4 minutes. This was executed at Starbase 74 at 2364. During emergency situations, certain large but protected areas of the ship were designated emergency shelters, including 10 forward. Collectively, they could hold all the ship's crew and were designed so that the crew could reach one of the areas quickly. In 2367, while caught in the Tychon Rift, the crew was ordered to these areas in order to get extra power from life support in non-sheltered areas. Number 9. In 2367, an average day aboard the ship recorded by Lieutenant Commander Data included 4 birthdays, 2 personal transfers, 2 chess tournaments, a secondary school play, 4 promotions, and at least 1 berth. The Enterprise normally ran on 3 duty shifts. Increasing to 4 duty shifts caused many personnel scheduling problems, as observed when Captain Jellicoe ordered a change during his tenure in 2369. Crew members of ensign rank were required to share crew quarters, but were allowed their own quarters upon promotion to lieutenant junior grade. Families often shared quarters. 10 forward, located at the extreme forward of Deck 10 in the saucer section, was the center of the ship's social activity. Nearly everyone on board passed through the lounge at one time or another. Holodecks, located on Deck 10 and 12, also provided entertainment for the crew. Number 10. An engagement with the renegade Klingon bird of prey commanded by the Duras sisters in 2371 resulted in extensive damage to the Enterprise. The ship's magnetic interlocks were ruptured, and best efforts could be made to repair them. A coolant leak began, leading to an unavoidable warp core breach. Faced with this scenario, Commander Riker ordered the evacuation of the crew from the secondary hull to the saucer section. Once the evacuation was completed, the saucer could separate and get to a safe distance before the star drive section was destroyed by the core breach. LaForge and Dr. Crusher oversaw the evacuation of the respective departments and completed with a minute to spare. The saucer's impulse engines were engaged as soon as it cleared the secondary hull, but the saucer was unable to get to a safe distance before the core breach. The explosion produced an ion shock wave that disabled the entire saucer section and propelled the saucer into a degrading orbit of Meridian 3, forcing the saucer section into the planet's atmosphere. With the saucer hurtling towards the surface of the planet, Data managed to reroute auxiliary systems to the lateral thrusters, thereby restore thruster control to level out the descent. Moments later, the saucer crash-landed into a jungle on the planet's surface, flattening many trees as it came to rest. Owing to a relatively safe landing, the Enterprise's casualties were minimal. Unfortunately, the severe damage sustained by the primary hull in the battle and subsequent crash landing rendered the ship unsalvageable. The ship's crew was rescued by 3 Starfleet vessels. I do hope you liked today's video. What memory do you have of the Enterprise D? Let me know in the comments. And please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. Take care and have a great day.